reflection reminded him of that other reflection which he had left unfinished. There's nothing, said Toby, more regular in its coming round than dinner time, nothing less regular in its coming round than dinner. That's the great difference between them. It took me a long time to find it out. I wonder whether it would be worth any gentleman's while now to buy that observation for the papers or the parliament. Toby was only joking, for he gravely shook his head in self depreciation. Why, Lord, said Toby, the paper is full of observations as it is, and so is the parliament. Here's last week's paper now, taking a very dirty one from his pocket and holding it from him at arm's length, full of observations, full of observations. I like to know the news as well as any man, said Toby slowly, folding it a little smaller and putting it in his pocket again. But it almost goes against the grain with me to read a paper now. It frightens me almost. I don't know what we poor people are coming to. Lord send we may be coming to something better in the new year nigh upon us. Why, father, father, said a pleasant voice hard by. But Toby, not hearing it, continued to trot backwards and forwards, musing as he went, talking to himself. It seems as if we can't go right or do right or be righted, said Toby. I hadn't much schooling myself when I was young, and I can't make out whether we have any business on the face of the earth or not. Sometimes I think we must have a little. Sometimes I think we must be intruding. I get so puzzled sometimes that I am not even able to make up my mind whether there is any good at all in us or whether we are born bad. We seem to be dreadful things. We seem to give a deal of trouble. We are always being complained of and guarded against. One way or other, we fill the papers. Talk of the new year, said Toby mournfully. I can bear up as well as another man at most times, better than a good many. For I am as strong as a lion, and all men aren't. But supposing it should really be that we have no right to a new year, supposing we really are intruding. Why, father, father, said the pleasant voice again. Toby heard it this time, started, stopped, and shortening his sight, which had been directed a long way off as seeking the enlightenment in the very heart of the approaching year, found himself face to face with his own child, looking close into her eyes. Bright eyes they were, eyes that would bear a world of looking in before their depth was fathomed, dark eyes that reflected back the eyes which searched them, not flashingly or at the owner's will, but with a clear, calm, honest, patient radiance, claiming kindred with that light which heaven called into being. Eyes that were beautiful and true, and beaming with hope so young and fresh, with hope so buoyant, vigorous and bright, despite the 20 years of work and poverty on which they had looked, that they became a voice to Trotty Veck and said, I think we have some business here, a little. Trotty kissed the lips belonging to the eyes and squeezed the blooming face between his hands. Why, pet, said Trotty, what's to do? I didn't expect you today. Meg? Neither did I expect to come, father, cried the girl, nodding her head and smiling as she spoke. But here I am, and Not alone. Not alone. Why, you don't mean to say, observed Trotty, looking curiously at a covered basket which she carried in her hand, that you— Smell it, father dear, said Meg. Only smell it. Trotty was going to lift up the cover at once in a great hurry when she gaily interposed her hand. No, 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 said Meg with the glee of a child. Lengthen it out a little. Let me just lift up the corner, just the little tiny corner. You know, said Meg, suiting the action to the word with the utmost gentleness, speaking very softly as if she were afraid of being overheard by something inside the basket. There now, what's that? Toby took the shortest possible sniff at the edge of the basket and cried out in a rapture, Why, it's hot! It's burning hot, cried Meg. Ha ha ha! It's scalding hot! Ha ha ha! roared Toby with a sort of kick. It's scalding hot! But what is it, father? Cried Meg. Come, you haven't guessed what it is. You must guess what it is. I can't think of taking it out till you guess what it is. Don't be in such a hurry. Wait a minute. A little bit more of the cover. Now guess. Meg was in a perfect fright lest he should guess right too soon, shrinking away as she held the basket towards him, curling up her pretty shoulders, stopping her ear with her hand as if by doing so she could keep the right word out of Toby's lips, and laughing softly the whole time. Meanwhile, Toby, putting a hand on each knee, bent down his nose to the basket and took a long inspiration at the lid. The grin upon his withered face expanding in the process, as if he were inhaling laughing gas. Ah, it's very nice, said Toby. It ain't, I suppose, it ain't Polonies? No, 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 said Meg, delighted. Nothing like Polonies. No, said Toby after another sniff. It's mellower than Polonies. It's very nice. It improves every moment. It's too decided for trotters, ain't it? Meg was in an ecstasy. He could not have gone wider of the mark than trotters, except Polonies. Liver? Said Toby, communing with himself. No, there's a mildness about it that don't answer to liver. Pettitos? No, it ain't faint enough for pettitos. It wants the stringiness of cocks' heads. I know it ain't sausages. I'll tell you what it is. It is chitterlings. No, it ain't, cried Meg in a burst of delight. No, it ain't chitterlings. Why, what am I thinking of? Said Toby, suddenly recovering position as near perpendicular as it was possible for him to assume. I shall forget my own name next. It's Tripe. Tripe it was, and Meg, in high joy, protested he should say in half a minute more it was the best tripe ever stewed. And so, said Meg, busying herself exultingly with the basket, I'll lay the cloth at once, father, for I have brought the tripe in a basin, tied the basin up in a pocket handkerchief, and if I like to be proud for once and spread that for a cloth, call it a cloth. There's no law to prevent me, is there, father? Not that I know of, my dear, said Toby, but they are always bringing up some new law or other.